So we have this massive story going on right now, a huge bombshell in the world of censorship. No, just kidding. We're going to be talking about the whole situation with Hasan Piker. This guy got banned, well, people say banned, he really just got suspended for 24 hours. And here the headline says, and this is from spilled.gg, Hasanabi faces 24-hour Twitch ban after discussing embassy shooter manifesto. Now, this is the reason that Twitch gave for giving Hasan Piker a 24-hour ban, but I mean, let's be entirely honest. Hasan Piker is someone who has been supporting and endorsing terrorism for quite a while now. He's basically made a career out of this. And so this has led to some very, very negative press for Hasan Piker. And it's not just bad press for Hasan Piker, right? A lot of people are hating on him now. In fact, I think that his proximity towards Creator Clash 3 is one reason why Creator Clash 3 is failing right now. But the big thing that this situation did was also put a target on Twitch's back, because they're like, hey, you know, we've got this whole situation with the Israel-Hamas war. We've got a lot of anti-Semites running around right now. And, you know, this is not helping. Understandably so, right? Because anti-Semites like to latch on to movements such as the pro-Palestinian movement because it's an easy way for them to get sympathy and also for them to get allies and supporters, at least part of their agenda, which is, you know, getting rid of Israel, which of course, you know, anti-Semites certainly want to do. But Twitch sort of has the target on their back now, planted by others. You know, I know Dan Clancy from Destiny's camp has been going crazy, but a lot of people have been pointing fingers at Twitch saying, hey, you're letting this guy you know, support terrorists and promote hateful rhetoric on your platform unchecked. A lot of people have been making video essays about it. I think some folks have even been making articles about it as well. And so I think this is the real reason why Hasan Piker is getting banned. It's because, like, you know, this is making Twitch look bad, and this sends a signal to Twitch's advertisers that says he's not anti-Semitism necessarily, but we're not on board with this extremism, this pro-terrorist, pro-violent extremism that is available readily on our platform and promoted even by the CEO of the platform. So this is kind of like a, I don't know what would be the best way to put it. This is basically virtue signaling to corporate America on behalf of Twitch. But let's keep on going down here in the rest of the article, because the rest of the article has more details on this whole situation. They've got a little TLDR section here, which is kind of neat. I've actually never used this website before. It says, Hasanabi received a 24-hour Twitch suspension for critically examining an Israeli embassy shooter's manifesto during a stream. Twitch prohibits discussion of manifestos linked to violent acts, regardless of context or analytical intent. Okay. Well, that's kind of dumb and that's kind of stupid. And things like this is actually one reason why I stream on YouTube and not on Twitch. I think Twitch, I like the culture that's on Twitch more or less, like with the Twitch chats and the emotes. But when it comes to live streaming platforms and the ability to speak your mind and not be censored, Twitch is actually one of the worst ones for that. You know, they skew to the left. That's why you don't really see many right-wing streamers on there, in large part because a lot of them don't game as much as left-wingers because they have jobs. But mostly, like, you know, if I was to do the streams that I do on Twitch, I would have been banned. I think I actually reacted to Osama bin Laden's manifesto. So, like, that would not have flowed on Twitch. And so that's why I mainly stream on YouTube. Now, to be fair, I also have a Kick account, which I do stream on occasionally. I don't stream on it a whole lot because I don't want to, you know, send a lot of my viewers over to Kick, because Kick has some crazy folks over there. But at this point, with the extremism that's on Twitch and the lack of a big live streaming community on YouTube, I think at this point I wouldn't be as averse to streaming on Kick as I have been in the past, I would say. With this whole situation, though, if I was Hasan Piker, I would strongly be considering switching to YouTube or Kick as well, because I think if you're someone who wants to cover the news, then you should be allowed to react to things that might be considered sensitive, like terrorist manifestos or footage that terrorists release. Now, reacting to it and supporting it are two different things. But if you're trying to be newsworthy, then of course you're going to be bumping up against some of these rules that are designed to keep extremist content at bay from a platform. But let's keep going here. It says Hasan accepted the suspension but expressed hope that Twitch will reconsider policies that limit news coverage and commentary. I mean, they're not. Says here, Hasanabi has been temporarily suspended from Twitch after critically examining the manifesto of a shooter who attacked the Israeli embassy staff during a recent broadcast. The ban, confirmed to last 24 hours, stems from Twitch's strict policy against discussing manifestos linked to violent acts, regardless of streamers' intentions or analytical approach. And we've got an embedded zeet here from streamer bans. It says Twitch partner Hasanabi has been banned. Let's see here. Hasan Dogan, I didn't know his middle name was Dogan. Piker shared news of his suspension on X, posting an image of the ban notification alongside his perspective on the situation. Quote, I covered the motives of the Israeli embassy staff shooter, Hasan wrote. The Twitch TOS dictates a suspension for even critical examination of the manifesto. I believe this is a bad policy for news and press freedom, which is true. But you kind of know the rules when you join Twitch. And if you didn't, then, you know, there are other platforms you could go to. You know, come over here to YouTube. You can go to Kick. You could go to Rumble. I feel like, you know, Hasan is kind of extremist, so I think Kick is probably the best place for him. But yeah, it's not like you have to stay on Twitch. Although I completely understand, you know, you've got the subs and everything, you know. But it says here, I'll take the suspension, but hope Twitch changes this policy in the future. And it's like, the funny thing too is that, like, I bet he knows the real reason why he got suspended, which I like to call it the suspension, not a ban, because it's not permanent, right? But it's really just a PR move on Twitch's part. They don't want to ban Hasan, but they want to be able to go to their advertisers and be like, hey, look, we did something. Because, you know, Dan Clancy loves this dude. So, and many of the mods probably love Hasan as well, because they just let him keep on getting away with it. Right? There was a little meme, I think, in the Hasan Piker community where it's like, he can't keep getting away with it. But it turns out, yeah, he actually can keep getting away with it. And he will continue to get away with it. But yeah, let's continue. It says, while accepting the platform's decision, Hasan expressed concerns about Twitch's approach to covering sensitive news topics. He acknowledged the rules, but noted that such policies are, quote, bad for news and press freedom, end quote, and hopes, quote, Twitch changes this policy in the future, end quote. This isn't the first time Twitch's moderation policies regarding violent content have gotten people talking. The platform maintains strict guidelines to prevent the amplification of extremist content, though critics argue these rules can sometimes get in the way of legitimate news coverage and political commentary. Journalist Taylor Lorenz confirmed the 24-hour suspension. How did Taylor Lorenz confirm that? Oh, I know that she's like a Hasan simp, but how did she know? Here's Taylor Lorenz's statement. She said, Hasan has been banned for 24 hours for covering the shooter's manifesto, even while denouncing it, which is literally like in the rules. So, I mean, yeah, another example of social media censorship of newsworthy information and coverage. This is a major newsworthy event, and content creators should be allowed to cover it without platform retaliation. True. By the way, for the record, I will say I actually agree with Taylor Lorenz here. Social media is how people get news information now, and these platforms are aggressively censoring journalistic speech based on politics. Whether you agree, based on politics, whether you agree, because it's a nonpartisan rule. It's a nonpartisan rule. Whether you agree with Hasan or any streamer covering the news or not, you should fight for their right to speak freely online. I do that. We are seeing record online censorship right now from both political parties because no one on the left or right is fighting to protect online speech. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. I feel like on the right, people sort of give it up on the whole like free speech thing. I feel like, you know, they feel like because they can say what they want on X, that there's no need to complain about censorship anymore. But, you know, you still should have your guard up against censorship of either folks on the right or the left. Like, conservatives, I think, should be saying, hey, Hasan should not be banned for, reacting to a manifesto. You know, he should be banned for, supporting terrorism, perhaps, right, on a mainstream platform. Like, we're not talking about, like, Kick here. We're not talking about Rumble. We're talking about a website that does not support free speech. I think if you're not going to support free speech, then you should probably be banning extremist content like Hasan Piker's. But they don't want to do that, I guess. This is so disingenuous. This is ridiculous. This is from, like, Onweed, I don't know how you say this, ONNW33D. says a Zionist was killed this time, so it's a big deal. What is this? And this is actually not proof that this is censorship due to this specific victim being Israeli. But I think this is proof that this is not the real reason why he got banned. Is it like Cybertruck Explosion Manifesto, green, Luigi Mangione Manifesto? What? Wow. I guess I didn't know he got away with it so many times. That's crazy. Luigi Mangione Manifesto, green, Wisconsin school shooter manifesto, green. By the way, please stop using orange pop filters. They're really they don't look good. I know Kat uses them. Kat Abugabaza or whatever her name is. Abugazela. I know she uses colored pop filters. They don't look good. Just stick with the black, dude. Just go black. Don't go back. Okay. There's also Wisconsin school shooter manifesto. He reacted to that. That was green. Reacted to the Ryan Routh manifesto. That's green as well. But here's where he gets banned with the Israeli diplomat shooter manifesto. It's kind of funny, but I think this is just proof that this is not the real reason why he got banned. So I don't think it necessarily makes the point that he thinks is making, or it, or they. I don't know if this is an organization. Multiple people, a she, I don't know. Actually, it's Hasan, so it's very possible it's a she, now I think about it. But yeah, then of course we've got the Hasan post over there. So, I mean, this is literally a slap on the wrist, and I think Twitch is going to use this as an excuse to not do anything to Hasan Piker in the future, which is, I think, a little bit unfortunate. But, I mean, to me, Hasan Piker not being on the airways on Twitch for one day is a net positive, even if I'm not a fan of censorship. It's like, this dude over here supports terrorism and supports violence against certain groups. Like, I'm not going to be too mad for him getting banned, just like I wasn't like too mad about Nick Fuentes getting banned. I support his right for free speech, but he's an extremist as well, who's problematic in his own ways. So, I don't know. I'm going to save my tears for another day, I think.